Let's travel back in time to the 1960s, 1967 to be exact, and meet Barney Glasser and Anselm Strauss. Glasser and Strauss worked to develop yet another social theory. Why, you might ask, would they see the need to add to the already full list of theories? The answer is simple. They were part of a growing movement of dissatisfied researchers who considered existing theories to be grand theories. Yes, these theories did offer explanations, however, they were rarely testable. In addition, these large-scale theories seemed to disregard the messiness of real-world situations and tried to force data to fit into known patterns. They failed to offer deep understanding of real-world situations. Enter the grounded theory. While qualitative in nature, grounded theory is known for its systematic procedures. The consistency of the procedures allowed researchers to see it as a viable option to a valid study. Using this approach, researchers would begin by taking a reflective approach to prior knowledge and assumptions, focusing on the individual and how they see the world that they experience. Only then would researchers formulate a hypothesis. The ideas of reflection and assumptions are common between grounded theory and transformative theory. So let's move ahead to the 1970s. During this time, a lot of women were going back to school, Jack Mesereau's wife included. The reasons for women's re-entry to school varied, but the increase caught Mesereau's attention and intrigued him. His curiosity inspired a women's re-entry study where he tried using grounded theories and approaches. As a result of his research, Mesereau observed that what was happening was bigger than women going back to school or preparing for a career. These women experienced a major change in the way they learned. According to Mesereau, the central concept and context of adult learning deals with critical reflection of assumptions and ideas that we've already seen through the aspects of the grounded theory. But Mesereau was inspired also by the works of Freud, Marx, and even Socrates. Freud's efforts to help people get in touch with assumptions they had taken for granted influenced Mesereau's focus on reflections and assumptions, since these assumptions can influence the way we act. Additionally, Marx's influence was based on challenging socio and economic assumptions and people becoming aware of socio-economic contexts in which they feel trapped. Finally, Socrates' influence was based on how he would challenge arguments his students made to make them look at the larger picture. This idea of the larger picture was a trend between grounded theory and transformative theory. If this all sounds deep, it is, but it's also very simplistic in nature. At its very core, transformative theory simply addresses the idea that adults learn differently from children due to the fact they can connect what they are learning to their experiences. Children are still learning about the world around them, and even though they can assimilate new knowledge and understanding, at times they must change their schema to accommodate the new information. Adults, however, have a much broader frame of reference from which they view their world and base their assumptions. Interestingly, people have a strong tendency to reject ideas that do not conform to their existing frames of reference. If that's the case, we need to understand what a frame of reference is based on. Mostly, frames of reference are based on habits of mind and points of view. When we talk about habits of mind, we are referring to ways of thinking, feeling, and acting as they've been influenced by several factors, including our social mores, level of education, cultural, economic standing, political views, and psychology. Each of these factors will contribute to the forming of a point of view, which is reflected in our values, beliefs, attitudes, and feelings. According to the transformative theory, transformations in frame of reference occur with reflection on assumptions which lead to transformations of habits of mind or points of view. This leads us to how transformative theory is related to adult learning. If, for example, a graduate student's point of view changes, it is likely due to encountering a new experience that has caused her to examine and reflect on her previous misconceptions. Most define transformative learning as a process in which the frame of reference fundamentally changes. The general theme in how adult learning takes place with transformative theory is that existing frames of reference are based on previous experiences. When a person encounters a new experience, she may transform her frame of reference by reflecting on the existing assumptions. If a transformation takes place, we can say that learning has occurred. It is important to remember that transformative learning is specific to adult learning. It is not generally accepted as an approach for the K-12 environment, but more for professional development or the postgraduate level. The research article, Mesereau's Theory of Transformative Learning with Implications for Science Teacher Educations, demonstrates how the theory is used in a study. Potential research questions based on transformative learning include: how can an instructional coach tap into an existing frame of reference for 6-8 math teachers? What barriers do postgraduate instructors face when using transformative learning in an online learning environment? How can two-year colleges take advantage of transformative learning for returning students?